It's showtime. Welcome to a show about death. I'm gonna need some help.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's Jimmy Davis with Any Music Scene, and I'm here with Kate Marilley. Kate, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm so great. I'm so excited to come to Cleveland. I've never been. I'm so thrilled to come visit the town for 3 weeks and to share our show with y'all. It's going to be so great.
Yes, and I forgot to mention Kate is on the show Beetlejuice, which starts at Playhouse Square next week, January 10th through the 29th, part of the Key Bank Broadway series. So that's exciting. I have to say, Cleveland has a great lineup this year. Starting off with Beetlejuice in January, then Hadestown, Tina, and ending with Six in August. It's crazy. Like the next 6 months, I'm gonna be loving this.
Right? Like just a buffet of awesome shows coming through in the next 6 months. Everyone's so lucky to go see Hadestown in Six. Wow, what a great lineup.
Right. And Cleveland does get a great lineup. So let's go back to Beetlejuice. So from my understanding, you guys are only in the first couple cities, right? Like this is brand new out the door.
Yeah, this is pretty brand new. Off to the races. We had our first preview performance at the Carson Center in Paducah, Kentucky. We did our tech process there and then performed for the first time for an audience, and then moved across the country to San Francisco and the Golden Gate Theater. We were there for the whole month of December, and really got to really share our fabulous show with the audiences there. They were so great. But this is technically our third city,
Okay.
but our second like big sit down city. So it's exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. So to understand, you went from Kentucky out to San Francisco, and you're going from San Francisco back out to Cleveland.
Yeah,
that's a haul.
Yep, but it is quite a like a jump to jump, and yeah, but also like three so various cities, and it's so different, all three cities. I'm so excited because I've never been on a tour before, so this is really special experience for me, going to cities and places I've never been. Cleveland is one of them. I'm so looking forward to it.
That's amazing. So tell me more about Beetlejuice. If you're a hardcore Beetlejuice fan, tell us, what do you think the one thing that people are going to love the most out of the Broadway adaptation of the movie, from the movie?
Well, I think I'm a big fan of the movie. I grew up on the movie. Big Tim Burton fan across the board in general. I think what fans who are both fans of the movie and maybe of the musical too, is there are lots of like little Easter eggs that are planted throughout the show and the design. Tim Burton, like little Easter eggs. You'll see maybe some Nightmare Before Christmas in there. You'll see obviously some Beetlejuice from the movie, maybe some Edward Scissorhands. Like you'll see like little Easter eggs throughout the design of the set, the costumes. Like if you're really like honing in on watching, it may take more than one time to see it, just saying.
Interesting. Okay.
But I think like in relation from the movie to the show, the famous dinner party scene, which I am so fortunate to step in the heels of both Catherine O'Hara from the movie, who plays my role in the film, and on stage in this role. Is the dinner party scene is iconic. Singing, the famous Deo Banana Boat song, is pretty parallel to the movie. The way we sing it, how we're possessed by the ghosts of Adam and Barbara Maitland, the shrimp moment. You'll see all kinds of like little moments in that whole thing. A little bit of changes here and there with how we interpret the possession, but it's my favorite moment in the show, and I'm so grateful that I get to be a part of it, because it's Deo.
Right, exactly.
Deo, right? It's so cool.
Exactly. So
yeah.
you're stepping into the role. Did you get to talk to her? Like, have you met her? Have you got inspiration?
Inspiration for sure. I have yet to talk or meet her. I am hoping so much that happens, because I feel like if and when that happens, I will probably my year, life, whatever will be made. I'm a huge Catherine O'Hara fan, not only Beetlejuice, but all of the the movies, Christopher, the Christopher guest films that she's in, and of course Schitt's Creek, Moira Rose. I mean, um, I will probably have a Wayne's World moment. I am not worthy. I'm not worthy. Uh, I hope it happens. Fingers crossed. Manifesting that moment would be amazing. But I'm constantly inspired by her brilliance, both in the role of Delia in the movie and just in her career in general. So a lot of my Delia quirks and isms are inspired by Catherine O'Hara, not only in this role, but in other roles she's done. So when you come and see the show, you'll see and hear my own interesting choices and take on the role, and you'll probably guess a few of the little inspirations, Easter egg inspirations that I'm putting in there in the role of Delia.
That's amazing. And I was going to ask, like, are you able to like take it and like take the script and like make it your own, or do you kind of are they like more strict of a show where you have to stick to this?
No, I will say the script, the lines, yes, written by Tony nominees Anthony King and Scott Brown, brilliant, brilliant writers. The humor in the show is and unparalleled. It's so wacky and quirky and humorous and witty, so smart writing. So we stick to the script. There have been a few moments where because this show has been in incarnation. They've been writing this show and working on it for I think something like 8 to 10 years. So there are lots of like it's morphed over time. So there's lots of lines that they've kind of like thrown at us to be like, why don't we try this and see how that works? So that's kind of fun, and maybe it'll change per city, maybe a different line here and there, but basically we're sticking with the brilliance that they've already created. But in terms of my interpretation of the role, I played originally on Broadway both times, both at the Winter Garden and the Marquee by the brilliant Leslie Kritzer, who's a friend of mine. I think what's great from this creative team, from Alex Timbers, our Tony winning, sorry, he won the Tony for Moulin Rouge, Tony nominated for Beetlejuice. Just he's so wonderful and kind and open, and lets us interpret the role on our own without cookie cutter from what's already been created. That is a really special, rare experience to be given. And I'm really grateful that they've kind of let all of us, including me, create my own vision of Delia or of Beetlejuice or Barbara. It's rare that you get that opportunity. So
That's amazing. That is really awesome. And so talking to Broadway, you've been on Broadway. You've been in other shows. You were in The Prom, My Fair Lady, and Flying Over the Sunset.
yes.
What do you think the experience between being on the road on a national tour and being in Broadway? What do you think the big key differences are?
The key differences are obviously Manhattan, New York City is my home base. So being on the road and going to places that I've never been before, that's the first thing that is very, very different. I'm not going home every night after a show via the New York City subway and seeing my two wonderful kitty cats or anything. I'm going to a hotel room or a house that maybe I rent by myself or with other people. So that's the main difference, is that you're not home. You sometimes don't have the same things that you would have at home, like certain kitchen things that you use or way that the regular way of life that you live at home. You're on the road, so you sometimes are staying in a hotel, staying in hotel beds, which are very comfortable, I must say. So that's a perk. That's a perk. And sometimes there's room service, not a terrible thing either. But that's the main difference, is living at home with all of your clothes and all of your items and belongings with you in the home. But then when you're on the road, you're living out of suitcases. You can only bring a certain amount of stuff with you, right?
Right.
So that's the main difference. That's the main difference, I would say.
So I asked this of everybody I interview. So I've been interviewed about, this is new to me. So just so you know, I just started doing Broadway interviews about 6 months ago. So I interviewed like people from Cats, from Hamilton, all that. So one thing I ask about everybody that goes from Broadway to the road is, what is one thing you've learned that you need to pack that you would give advice to other people that are starting to tour? Like, what is something that that everybody's told me the same thing, so I'm hoping I get a different answer. out of you.
I'm so curious what the other answers are. I would say my learning so far would be some sort of cooking supplies. If you're living out of a hotel and there's no way to cook anything, maybe a microwave, maybe you're fortunate enough to like bring an air fryer or a crock pot if you're allowed to do that in the hotel. Cutlery, that kind of thing. I think I've learned my lesson. Staying in San Francisco for a month without a kitchen, I think that has taught me a lot. Definitely cooking and like that, the regular living supplies that you don't think of because you're living at home. I would say that, and a variety of layered clothing.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I brought my winter coat to San Francisco because I know we're traveling to winter cities coming up, right? So here I am in San Francisco in 60 to 65 degrees with this huge Canadian puffer coat. And I'm going, this was a mistake. So maybe different kinds of outerwear for wherever you're going by the season. I would recommend knowing where you're going and maybe mixing it up with outerwear so that you're not roasting outside.
That's amazing. So the one thing that everybody said was that they learned that they overpacked at the start of their, like they would overpack,
okay.
like that they were taking too much because they said less is better, or less is more in this world. And so that was definitely a different answer than what what I've been getting.
Well, then I gave you something new to play with. That's
yes,
great.
Exactly.
I would agree. I would agree with that. I may have overpacked with, my affinity for clothing. But I actually think I did pretty well. I would still stick to my original answer though.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much once again. Kate will be coming to Cleveland starting next week, January 10th through the 29th, a part of the KeyBank Broadway series at Playhouse Square. Tickets available now for Beetlejuice at playhousesquare.org. It's exciting. Thank you so much, Kate. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see the show next week. When I tell you, I literally, my Spotify top 10 for the songs for the Beetlejuice soundtrack. So
oh my gosh, are they really?
I love the show. Yeah, I love it.
I'm so glad.
So I can't wait. And did you notice my shirt is Beetlejuice? It's the same.
I did notice that. Oh my gosh, I really want. That's the sandworm.
Yeah,
Are you gonna dress up? We have a lot of fans.
Yes. I'm gonna wear this. I think probably. I don't know how
you should
crazy.
Absolutely.
I don't know how crazy I could dress up with being a media night. You're sitting next to all these anchors and all those media personalities, but I will be there, and I'm excited, and I'm seeing the show I think 3 different times. So I'm seeing it during media night, and then I bought tickets to 2 other shows as well. So
I can't wait. Hopefully we'll get to meet in person because that would be super special.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm just thrilled to come to Cleveland and explore the city itself and meet all the fans out there that I know are probably really excited to see our show. It's a really great company. I think you all will really have fun. And I can't wait to share it with you all.
It's great. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jimmy. All right. I'll see you next week.
Welcome to a show about death. I'm gonna need some help. Hi, I'll be your guide. I'll be your GUIDE to the other side. The whole be deadly.
Because I myself am strange and unusual.
Me said them.